when I say outdated, I mean like the construct that we're in. We've been in it for a long time, and like if it worked, it would have worked by now. If I'm going by facts, but what's weird is that 2 years ago is the best it's ever been. So you got to take that in consideration too. You know, so it's like to like on a human level in the moment, it's like, yo, this is not it. It's outdated, and it's showing we could do better. But on the flip side, it's also this is the best as it's ever been. Looking at humanity from Australopithecus, you know, so it's like, oh shit, like, well, we came up, but it's like, okay, now we have the cognitive ability to do things and we can't do it. And when I mean outdated, I'm not talking about like just like, oh, the cookie cutter conversations of like, oh yeah, this is this. It's proven and it's a fact that stuff is just crazy. You got social injustice, you got all this. It's just a gap between a lot of different things and nobody wants to accept it. But then this Western idea of like this whole free idea, like this whole like, oh, I'm gonna be a free person is kind of a ideology of its own, because you can't really like, I don't know, who to say humans deserve, like we've told ourselves we deserve the best, but on the grand scheme, on outside of like a bird's eye view of the everything, that none of that was technically told. Like that's just an idea that exists, like that you should deserve this. That's just an idea, which people do deserve that out of just being morally cool. Like morally, you should do shit right, and there's a wrong. But like we get to the place, and you see it a lot of times in like governments where it's like, we deserve this as the da 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 da. That's true, but at the same time, like the liberal, like if you want to get like political, it's really just like this ideology that somebody told us we have free will, and that itself is just an ideology to me. Because technically, like, I don't know if we technically have it, because we're in a construct anyway. Like if we're born into a construct, how do you technically have the freedom to do something you never created or helped build? Doesn't make sense to me. So I'm more like, nobody talks about the TSA that's I don't know, like just not civil. Like, you know, like TSA security is not designed for a transgender person yet. Like it's only designed for cisgender, like, you know what I'm saying? Like people that are just like, it's when the machine, when it analyzes you, it's not analyzing people as what they are in this time now, because people are changing all the time. So it's like, what does the world look like when we get to a place where you can make those changes and then people can live inside the right spaces? Because right now it's just a bunch of chaos. Like nobody's like thinking about that. And it's like, well, and it's like, yo, like the whole, we keep getting in the same situation because we keep thinking like, oh, it's this because of it, but we're already born into something. So it's like, we don't really have a free choice to you can make the right decision, but the overall scheme of it, it's like, I don't know if I deserve that, but I do know I can change the world by doing something right. It's kind of where my head is always at with it. Cause like, we're in a weird times, man. Like the world is changing and we're not up to date, and we might not ever get up to date because humans might not have the capability to make rational decisions like we thought or we were told. You know, that's why I'm more idea driven. Like every idea is different. Like you treat concepts as an idea, but when humans are starting to suffer, that's a fact. So when people's like, it's like, what's the results not to make that happen? And then you see all these stuff going on, and nobody's coming up with the right results. But we can do all kind of other stuff. I don't know what's that's not in date. That's kind of outdated. At that point, it's like, yeah, this is not for everybody. This is outdated. Like this is stupid. And then what's crazy too, in like the certain countries, they'll start saying like, oh, these people are Marxists or these people are communists and all this. But that's only for the working class people. Imagine when there aren't any working class people, there won't even, the concept of communism won't really even, all that stuff is gonna vanish away into a history of concepts. And I feel like we're going into a new place where the language is gonna start changing too, like how to describe this stuff, because it's some funky stuff. But that's kind of where I'm at with it all. It's like we tend to just think we don't know how to do it, and humans have this like prideful thing where we don't like to collaborate with other things that have been here way before us to understand how to get it done. Like I was watching something today about it's a bird that goes to Delaware that can predict the worst hurricane seasons. And this dude been studying, and this bird has been spot on about hurricane season. And the bird's going to Brazil, and they'll go to Brazil nest early, go to Brazil because they know the hurricane. It's like if the design around us is predicting stuff better than we are, why aren't we listening to that or trying to understand that more versus figuring out who got this or what can we do this, or trying to like just the whole capitalist thing that we were born into, basically. Yeah, and you got to think, all the other species of things do some things better than humans, you know? And will we get to the bottom of, you know what I'm saying, what's that thing that makes humans do what we do? I don't know. But the goal is to try to, like, you know what I'm saying, fix your neural architecture, because that's going to travel to your kids and the people later. Like, so, you know what I'm saying, genetics, DNA, like, how do you get it to, like, it's a process. Like what we're talking about or want to feel, probably won't see it till like 1,000 years from now, if the world is even here. Like, or whatever civilization, wherever, if somebody is on Mars, whatever the situation is, you know, like, which is just kind of crazy to me. That's just, I'm always, you know, that's kind of what it is for me. But it's all outdated. I don't agree with it. I don't think humans need that much power. That's subjective, because it's like, well, if I work for this and that, but it's like, if we were to use it right and it was showing after years and centuries, that would have been a different conversation now, but we never did. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Maybe the humanism part of it is, the humanism concept might just be a concept. You know, the humanitarian concept might just be a concept too, which is another question. But it's just, you can just keep, it just don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all good stuff, man. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, you can always be introspective and know how to do some good for the world, and know what's good and what's right for wrong for people at the end of the day. Like, I feel like